Thursday morning, 8:15, means it's time for Senior Health. Dr. Brent Wallis, Dr. B, Chief Medical Officer of People's Health, joins us this morning. Doc, how you?
I'm doing well, Tommy. How about you?
Very well, thank you. Tell me about peopleshealth.com/radio.
Yeah, we set up a website where people can go to find out about the various Medicare Advantage plans that we offer, and the plans are great to increase your access to health care, especially for our senior population.
So you just go to peopleshealth.com/radio, and you got everything there waiting for you. And, man, it can be tough to navigate those waters, and that's why we like to have you on to help people do that. But we also like to give out some health tips. And June is Men's Health Month. Men's Health Month. I'll get it out, and Dr. B is going to kind of talk about some of the risks for men and some common myths, etc. So, Doc, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to make it interactive with the audience. I'm going to pose a question. I'm going to give them a second to answer it in their heads, okay? And then you'll answer it. So, what are the top health risks for men? You listening, go ahead and make your answers. Get them in your head. All right, now, Dr. B, what are the top health risks for men?
So I think by far the number one problem that men deal with from a health perspective is heart disease. And actually about half of adult males have some form of cardiovascular disease, the most common being hypertension or high blood pressure. And high blood pressure can actually lead to stroke. So stroke is actually another major risk for men as well. So that's why it's so important to see your doctor to get checked to see if you may have elevated blood pressure.
So half means you may not. Pretty much, right? 50
Pretty
coin
much.
toss, see a doctor. What about depression and suicide?
Yeah, depression and suicide are particularly difficult in men. And one of the problems is that, as you may know, we're not very good at going to the doctor. And a lot of times we put on a face and we may not be comfortable talking about depression and our feelings. And so it goes underdiagnosed in men, particularly for quite a long time. And severe depression can actually lead to suicide. Suicide has been going up in the United States over the past couple of years and is actually now the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S. And I think right now you have to think about that. A lot of people are suffering with depression with a lot of things going on in the world. A lot of things we deal with in New Orleans on a daily basis and a seasonal basis. I think that's why it's all, very important for men to make sure that they stay in touch with their feelings and talk with their primary care physician if they think they may be having trouble.
I've been candid about it. I've struggled with depression my whole life, and I was ashamed to think of it, to say that. And I thought for a while that it was just, come on, man, suck it up, get out of this. It's not like that. It's physical. It's biological. It can be treated with medicine. It's not as simple as willpower. So, guys, I'm telling you, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You don't have to live your life if you are dealing with depression like you feel right now. There are ways. Some medicines available. There are therapeutic, therapy sessions, doctor. There are a couple of different ways to deal with this, a bunch of different ways, but do not be ashamed to admit it. I don't know how people, if they have a gallbladder, they don't feel ashamed about that. So I don't know why there is a stigma in admitting that you suffer from depression.
Yeah, I think we tell our patients that all the time, and it's exactly what you said. We treat diabetes, we treat hypertension, heart disease, and no one feels bad about having those conditions. And depression is a medical condition. It's a treatable condition. So it's important to talk about that with your doctor, just like you talk about any other physical problems that you may have.
Let's talk about smoking, because you would think by now everybody pretty much knows about that. However, some seniors, maybe the information wasn't out there and they've been fighting an addiction their whole life.
Yeah, and for seniors, they grew up in a time where a lot of the risk of smoking were just being realized. They may not have gotten on the bandwagon with quitting smoking, and so you have a lot of individuals who have been smoking for 40 plus years. And the problem with that is that can lead to a lot of other disease states. Smoking actually obviously increases your risk of chronic obstructive lung disease, but it also increases the risk of lung cancer. And African American men are actually particularly at a higher risk for lung cancer as well.
People tend to think, and it's not about me, but my dad, died of that from smoking in the military in World War II, and that was the thing to do. But for those of you that think, well, something's going to happen, something's going to take me one way or the other, it's not going to be a quick, painful thing. You need to do some research on that and just quit smoking. So it's Men's Health Month. Dr. Brent Wallis from People's Health, Dr. B, we're talking about some of the important issues that affect men's health. When we come back, we're going to play true and false, and I'll give you a second answer, and then Dr. B will give us the correct answer about some common myths that are associated with men's health. 8:20, time for traffic now on WWL. 8:24, Tommy Tucker, WWL, talking with Dr. B, Dr. Brent Wallis, Chief Medical Officer of People's Health, peopleshealth.com/radio. It is a one-stop resource for seniors, and if you're a son or daughter of a senior, to kind of help you navigate your way through those choppy waters of Medicare. Dr. B, a text comes in before we get to true or false, and I think it's a pretty important one as we talk about depression during this Men's Health Month. How do you know? How do you know the difference between being sad or being depressed, or seeking some help, realizing that you need help and seeking it?
It's a really great question. Sadness is normal and grieving is normal. And with depression, what we usually think about is when it becomes not normal. So prolonged grieving or prolonged sadness that you can't break out of is very concerning. But in particular with depression, what we see a lot of is disturbances in the natural things we do. So sleeping, eating, either, too much sleep, too little sleep, too much eating, too little eating. Those can be really hallmarks of depression. And so if you're seeing that change in your lifestyle and the inability to break out of those feelings, that's when you need to talk to your doctor.
All right, Dr. B, here we go. Men's Health Month, we're going to play true or false. I'm going to give the audience a chance just a second to come up with their answer, and then you'll give us the right answer, okay?
Sounds
true or
good.
false? True or false? Men ages 35 and older should get their cholesterol checked once every 5 years, even if they feel healthy. All right, their answers are locked in. What's the answer to that one?
So that's absolutely true. Men over 35 should get their cholesterol checked. And actually, if you're over 50, you should have it checked yearly, or if you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure or diabetes. Very important.
All right, here we go. True, false. High blood pressure and high cholesterol cause symptoms, so you will know if you have these conditions. Audience, their answer is locked in. Dr. B?
So that is actually false. So high blood pressure and high cholesterol most of the time cause no symptoms whatsoever. And that's why it's so important to get screened for those conditions, because they can be completely silent, and your doctor needs to help you diagnose those.
This is an easy one because if you were listening, you'll know the answer, but we'll see. True or false? Most men do not go to the doctor.
I hear that all the time from my wife, and no, we don't go to the doctor on a regular basis, and I think that goes back to the stigma we talked about. But it's not weak to go to the doctor and talk about any problems you have, or just to go and get a preventative checkup.
I'll walk it off. Your thigh bone is sticking out of your skin. It's no problem. I'll walk it off. True or false? Prostate cancer only affects older men. Audience, lock in your answer. Dr. B, what's the truth?
That one's false. It definitely does affect more older men, but we do see it in younger men as well, especially in the African American population. And actually, the younger you see prostate cancer, sometimes the more severe it can be, which is why you need to get checked as well.
All right, so before we run out of time here, some things that maybe some guys can put on their list of things to do to improve their health during June?
Yeah, we talk about this a lot, but getting enough sleep is very important. We say about 7 to 9 hours a night if possible. That actually helps your health in general. We talked about smoking. You should stop smoking. That reduces the risk of a lot of diseases, heart diseases, cancers, lung diseases. And then exercise. Exercise is really fantastic because it actually makes you healthier, but it also helps with stress, gives you an outlet, and it's very good for your health as well.
It's helped me, being of this male mindset that make women shake their heads. is that everything's got to be bigger, stronger, faster, this, that, the other thing. But you're not going to be in high school again, right? So forget the high school training. Look at it now as a way to keep everything working, the parts moving and working. That's how I look at it, and it helps me stay active.
Definitely. That's the way to go.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. Dr. Brent Wallis, People's Health. Go to www.peopleshealth.com/radio. A treasure trove of information if you are trying to get through Medicare and understand it, or maybe you're the son or daughter of somebody who is, from doctors and medications to Medicare, Part D drug coverage. You can find everything you need at peopleshealth.com/radio. You can call 800-978-9765 and follow People's Health on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Taking a